we get commission yarn, it actually unwinds from the centre. The other ones can unwind from the outside. So what's happened there is, it's gone from a spinning machine, it's gone back to another big machine, we reprocess it, and then bring it back into the drawer. So you'll never match these shades again, basically to one off. Because all we do is cut in different shades in the back. So it'll go on the spinner and then get sold.
Oh my days.
Basically full of pins, what we call combs, and it's just going to comb out the fibre. We reduce it at the same time, so every time it goes from one stage to another, apart from combing it, we're reducing it down in thickness. Once we get to the third stage, we end up where we've got it down to our final thickness, ready to go on to a spinning machine. What happens again? The product you've got here.
Go for it. Sorry. Better explain to us.
Alright, so basically our spinning machine, so we've got 13 grams a metre. So from there, back and all over in that area, we class that as sliver. From there down, it's now a yarn. It's got a bit of twist in it. We determine how much twist goes into it so that it's not too harsh. A lot of twist will make it snarly and harsh when you get to the final product. Basically all they do is spin it, put it onto a bobbin. A bobbin is one of these guys. The hardest part on this machine is learning how to thread up. Basically, you have to use your brake, you have to use an end. What you've got to do while the machine's running, take your foot off, slide it behind there and snap it. Once you know how to do that, it's like riding a bike. Very simple. But it's getting to that stage is the hard part. And then when you go over to the commission, exactly the same except you use your knee to break it, but way finer. So what will happen there is I break an end, it could tangle to the next one, tangle to the next one, tangle to the next one. So you've got to catch it then. So you try not to let any bits touch the next end. So we'll go down. So there's 200 ends on this machine. Country Natural?
Sorry.
Country Natural? 8 ply socket in Country
Oh,
Natural.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't have those nets in it. So those nets are put in at the drawing stage. What happens is they're acrylic, so they won't die when we dye them with a wool dye.
Yep.
So they'll stay there. The yarn will change shade, but those nets won't change. So some of them will fall out in the process, but basically we account for that. So this is a carding yarn that we've reprocessed, but we kept it separate from all the other stuff so that we had a nice, light, clean yarn. The same with that stuff over there. That's an undyed that's gone through the spinner and now gone back and has come back to be redone again. So with our waste, that's what we call our hard waste. We can't do anything with that one. This stuff here is actually a top that was printed on the top, and then we had to run it through our drawing, one top at a time, to get it onto our spinner. It just wouldn't run through the drawing. Oh, sorry. This stuff here is our soft waste. This is what goes back to our carding machine. We put it back through, we bring it back over here, and just recycle. Here is what we call an auto cutter. So down here we have a sensor, and what happens with the sensor is measuring the yarn. So we can set it a limit to how thick a piece comes through to how thin a piece comes through. If it's over those limits, it will actually cut the yarn, and then this guy here, which goes back and forth, you'll have to come down, pick up the bottom, pick up the top, bring them together and join them up. Move away. We'll only do it 3 times and there will be a red button come out. After the 3rd time it says, I can't do it. I need help. So then the operator comes back. All the operator does is keep our nose in for and changes the cones over when they're full. So the yellow light will come on and they'll say I'm full. We'll take the cone off, find another one and then push the start button, off it goes again. So this machine here is what we call an assembly winder. We have 2 of those. All they do is take 2 ends, 3 ends or 4 ends and put them onto a tube. Don't do anything else. From there they'll end up going onto our twister. So in the case of this guy, there's 2 ends on there. That's how fine our conditioning work is. So we have does our thin stuff. All it does is go around the other side. tubes on there. We're putting the switches. Whatever is going to switch, and all that.
Oh, lush. Want to weigh yourself?
There was 2 machines that we just walked past.
Yeah.
They've been scrapped. This one they're making past it.
Here in Wang?
No. Nothing's done in Wang, basically. We're owned by Bendigo Woollen Mills.
Oh yeah.
He will take on what he can, but basically Bendigo Woollen Mills would fit in one of our rooms over there, the whole factory. So because we used to run 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, some other time, we actually had to have a lot of space for material coming and going. So that's why the place, we're actually sitting on 14 acres and there's 20 people, so.
Wow. Just wow when you think of that.
Yeah.
And I've been to Bendigo a lot, so it's just crazy. Oh, wow.
Did you say 20 people on there?
Yeah.
And 14 acres?
That's why they're selling.
Wow.
And back in the old days, this area was called the spinning wheel term because we used to actually work or do a lot of fine count for bombs. So we supplied a lot of the bombs products that went into their singlets, undies and all that stuff. Then they went overseas and basically they had to reconfigure the factory and they turned it into hand knitting yarn. So a lot of the spinners right through here in the next 3 rooms were all spinners. The one that we've got in that room there is basically what we call a collared spinner, and that was designed so that the collared fibre couldn't transfer to any of the
It's
other products.
amazing if you look at it.
The tops that we get that come in, basically this is not our stuff, but it's a commission job. So he's sourced his fibre, had to take it overseas and bring it back in 400 kilo bales. So generally the bales that we work with are between 300 and 400 kilos each, and that's about it. We do get some of the smaller lots that are basically 180, 200. So that one there, that white that's coming through now is 300 kilos. So
Why is it sent overseas and come back again?
because you've got to scour your fibre.
How does that do here? Houston.
EPA and all that made it too hard, and it's cheaper to send it overseas. And the volumes that we buy, there's one that's the scouring mob that are buying this machine, they do little stuff. They don't do big stuff. So, and we don't buy it by a couple of bales. We generally buy 60 bales at a time. So a 40-foot container full of bales is what we bring in each time. So we'll head this way. And we don't play with acrylic. We only play with wool blends. So wool alpaca, wool mohair. No acrylic. So the product will go basically the same as a spinner, except it changes when it gets to the front.
They don't do any of the cleaning and the scouring. Oh, no.
And not for the operator.
Yeah. So does it have to be warm to?
For this area here, and as we're getting down finer, we have to keep warmth in here.
Yep.
That one there, we actually got, I think, 6 little heaters in there, running off timers, so that when she comes in tomorrow, that area will be warm enough for her to start that machine up.
Yep.
Basically, yeah, the operators have to rug up, but in here we have these, and they basically heat the rollers up, and then once the machine starts running for a while, they warm up anyway. But basically, to start it up now, you'll get slubs and that coming through, so it just runs like crap. That's a technical term.
We get that one though.
These guys here, basically we're reducing it down from 6 grams a metre down to this. Now with this machine here, we generally have to set it up so that when we're getting we can do up to a kilo, so they can be really big bobbins, but we have to take into account how hard it is to pull that apart. If it's too soft, we can't run it on the spinner. It won't pull off, it'll just keep breaking. If it's too hard, it won't run on the spinner. Well, it will, but it'll actually give you what we call cockles. So not a nice fibre, it's like a little, that's hard, it's like a little cockle. Yeah, it's like a little lump, but it sort of pulls out, but it just doesn't draft properly. So they have massive problems, but the idea is that we test this one. If it's too soft and we've done it, basically we're in trouble because we can't produce it, so we have to throw it away. And we don't like doing that. So again, another auto cone, but this one's got a bit of yarn on it. So that's the magazine all full. Basically, you've still got your same setup down the bottom. And again, there's 2 of these guys, one on either side. They don't hit each other because they're set up that if they're close enough, one will go back the other way. But this operator will keep the magazine full. She'll doff the machines when the yellow lights have come out, and she'll fix up any little red buttons like this guy here. She'll put that in and make sure it works. It could be the tail on the tube down there has dropped too far down, and the arm, because you've got an arm, I can't get this one across, but there's an arm comes down this way to pick up this guy, and there's one goes that way. So they go, and then they join. Splicing unit is in here. It'll splice it, and it'll do it 3 times. So we've got one operator that looks after that machine, this machine, and those machines. So these guys, when they're empty, they'll go into the conveyor, pop up here. She just puts them back into the trolley. And if it's good yarn, she's laughing. If it's not good yarn, she's swearing.
Just history.
Oh, that's a history.
Yeah.
Cycle. One of these machines has got an auto docker on it, so an arm would come out, raise up, go back over the tubes, then it would fill it with air because there was balloons in there, and then basically grab all the tubes, so 200 tubes, pick up the 200 tubes, bring them out, drop them onto a little conveyor, They would then go down to a sorting area, sort them all the same way, onto another conveyor, which would run them through steam, and then from there go straight onto one of those machines. So 2 operators looked after the one machine. The only problem with the automatic doffing was if one of the little balloons got a hole in it and the unit was out here, all the little balloons would go flat. So 200 ends or 200 bobbins on the floor. So it's easy just to doff it by hand. And you can hear the heaters running.
Thank you.
Actually, if you slide that red thing across, that's where it's going.
Thank you.
And the one looking that way. Alright, so with this guy here, I'll stand here. Basically, the operator, I don't know about any of you guys, but I struggle to see any ends there at all. There's ends there, yeah. They're all there. So what the operator will do here is she'll actually run her hand along, and she's feeling for any big gaps. If she finds a big gap, which generally means she gets the feel to say if that one's broken, it'll be bang, bang, then bang. She knows that ends is down, so then she'll fix that one. So she would just run all the way around, run her hand along there, feeling for those guys. And if you look at this yarn, this is the single end. That brown that was running over there on the assembly winder is 2 of those ends together. So it's a real fine yarn.
Beautiful.
On the other side, I don't think she's got any white up, has she? No? No. Yeah, no, got no white up. So the white will be going up. So we've got a brown and we've got a grey going up. So the grey will go up next. She'll put the white through. As the brown runs out, she'll start putting that up. The white you can actually see. You can look along there and actually see an end out. But not with the dark shade. So we'll go in this warm area.
Oops, sorry, you're all right.
So as you can see, we're starting to organise our excess furniture ready for a sale. The product that you see in here is imported product. It's generally coming from overseas, and it's a product that has acrylic in it. As I said, we don't play with acrylic. The boxes you'll see in the warehouse will have Panda, Payton's, Shepherd, and a few, I think there's 4 brands on the boxes. So, but all these type of boxes that say Bendigo are basically all imported product. Stuff that we can't do or stuff that's got acrylic in it, and we don't play with acrylic. Back out this way. At the end of the day to actually have a shower. So yeah, so they would set up the whole lot. So we have 2 boilers. We used to have 3. We only use 1 now. We have an unmanned boiler, which means that has to be in line of sight of someone all the time. The other guy over here is an automated one. Basically, they'll go off and alarm. Also, we're inside the building. Set up a block. We only run gas every second week at this stage. And the reason we only run gas is because our bill per quarter is between $30,000 to $40,000 a quarter. So it's got to the stage where it's getting too expensive to run the bar. Now we're heading into our dye house, so everything that comes from the spinners line through manufacturing all ends up over here. So we have a couple of our top gun operators running these machines. So these are what we call lamps. So everything comes from a lamp, a cone, and goes onto a next die. So hands over here. So we have to hang it all before we can get it into the back. Some for us, some of that.
Haven't done yet? I know. How's it going? Good. How are you?
Stuff. So if you have a look at that, that's how
Oh, it's gorgeous.
it looks. So that's actually going to be dyed
it's
black.
gorgeous. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll put it these.
Back in the heyday, there was two major bats over there in that framework, and they used to do what we call muck. So it would be a fine yarn put onto it. Would be loaded into there, dyed, and then taken out and dried. So they used to have to train that one up. So, and from here all the way along were these bats here. So basically it was full of bats. They're all gone now. The unit that we've got over behind us is a printing machine. So anyone that's fitted with some of the Dreamtime floor price, there's a couple of prints in there that were done on that machine. So that machine allows us to put any pattern we like in. The only thing we've got to watch when we do that, if it goes down to our winding and they have an issue and they wind it back off the cone, they've got to rewind it back onto the cone to get the pattern the right way.
So is that like the soft ball that fits up there, or is that?
Sort of filter here, filter there, then filter the third
So
time.
3 times, yeah.
And it's all, so you use the pipe directly to there?
No, we have a dirty big vat over there, a big tank.
Yep.
All our product goes into that tank, and then from there it settles, then it goes across to another tank to your brush,
Yep.
and then from brush
Do you
goes
just have to pump it into a truck or anything, or it just sort of...
all through. Now, what happens?
Sorry.
When this one is empty, those carriers areas will be taken out, those ones will be put in, and we start the process again. They won't get put into this one, and this one's broken. But yeah, so they that one there is a parrot, so you can see it moving around in the water.
The water gets treated here into the big tanks, then it gets pumped to dry, treated again, then it gets pumped to the water treatment plant, and then after that
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Push it all the water out, then we pick it back out, put it into another dryer. Our top comes through this way as well, goes there. Gets our yarn, goes that way, or this way. This side here is our microwave. We put all our tops through there. So there has to be an operator there all the time. What we're looking for is a little bit of steam coming off, but no smoke. That steam smoke, it burns the yarn. This burns yarn. Yes. That's what happens when you burn the yarn.
Oh dear.
So basically those things there are scrapped now. There's nothing we can do with those. So our top is loaded into a carrier here. Down, the carrier is loaded in there. We place our tops in there, and the last few tops we actually press in, so they're under pressure.
Oh.
And then you can actually see that this goes down a bit further. So it's not just...
Oh goodness.
So yeah, so that's pretty deep. But we actually have a crane that picks this unit up, because when this unit is full, there's 5.5 tons.
That is amazing.
So across there goes...
Wow.
From there to there and then back. We load it to the top. And then because this is a pressure vessel, we can get the temperature higher. So it has to be locked. If the safety devices aren't in the right spot, it won't go. And this gets it over 100 degrees. So
Wow.
there's a little bit of water in that one. We have our side tanks, so this is our water one. We've got our chemicals and dye tanks that we pump into there, and then they pump across and then pump it into there. The cylinders in the middle, you can see those are perforated. That's where our dye comes through and then goes from the centre out.
Amazing. Wow.
breaks it up, and it'll break it up into bits and pieces like that. We don't get it that fine, but we're still able to run the card. Basically, we've got the hopper at the back. If you happen to get in there for some unknown reason and pull onto the spike ladders, you'll get carried up to the top, and there's a set of feeders that will feed you ahead of you. To get you off, you actually have to lift up and off. It's just not a matter of jumping off, you're actually stuck with the spikes. You only do it once. From there, it'll come through and drop through and wait for you. And then through. We have a metal detector here.
Wow.
And basically pick up the fibre from the back and feed it into the roller, then go down, pick up the fibre from underneath and feed two of them into that roller. And if it's right, you're right. From there they go through a drawing machine, again just reducing it down and into a can. And the reason there's so many of those cans over there for carting is because we have to empty these trains, we don't have enough. If we had enough, you could put them straight on the drawing machine and recycle them, but we can't. From there, we've got, 5.5 kilometres of fibre in one of those cans in one continuous length if everything goes right. So, if it doesn't go right, we've got a lot of joints. That's up to the next operator. That's product that's either made here or made in Bendigo. The other stuff is imported product, which is either a fancy yarn, a fancy print, or wool acrylic.
With the machine back there, how long would those rollers on the end last before you've got to replace them?
Those big ones.
As it was like coming out at the end,
So the six heads.
where it was compressing it.
Where I was standing
Yeah, when you
up,
stood up
yeah.
on the thing, yeah.
I think those guys are around 60 years old now.
The middle end. Oh wow.
Yeah, that machine's not a young machine. It's well before my time, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's a scary machine, but once you get used to it and you know what can bite and what doesn't bite, then it's pretty good.
It's just got to get to that point.
When it's running good, it's a boring machine.
Yeah.
There's just some of our, or along the wall we used to have that to show people what can be made. So with the mill, not only do we make the yarn here, we actually have pattern writers, we have everyone designers, so it's all in-house. So they come up with the designs, they have pattern writers that write the patterns, the whole lot. We have needles. These couple of areas where we have balling machines here, our operators, if they were doing a certain product, will go to this board, pick it up, go back to the machine and make sure it was the same type. With our balling machines, they could put anything on, but it had to be a standard size, look the same every time. So this area did have about 1, 2, we had 3 balling machines in here, 2 full skeins, and then we went back. This area here, the numbers were where we used to line up the product for the machines. So it would be brought in each day and then dragged out of there, next day refilled. And then down the end there was another area where all the products went. So this machine here is what we call a donut machine, and it makes these little guys. It's a hand one. Basically the operator has to start it, let it run the cycle, and then she has to operate the machine to get it to cut the end, and then she pulls the balls off, puts the label in the ball, packs it into a bag. Generally with your balls, knitters, this is past the top of the line. I can use exactly the same yarn in 3-point balls, but they like this for some reason. There is a pull skein, which is a ball about that long, or the cylinder about that round. It's actually designed to pull from the centre. The tail is made so that when you knit to the centre, so that the outside can get as dirty as it likes. With these guys here, if you're an experienced knitter, you can put your pinkies in there and pull out the end. Or pull out a lot of ends if you're not experienced. Then you just spend time unraveling. The same with the balls. You can put your fingers in there and get the end, but if you don't get it right, you sit there and untangle all the yarn. Some shades are in a few ranges, and we're able to take them out of one range and put them into another range. Some shades are the same, but we don't own that range, so we have to keep that stuff to work. We have to try and make our orders, because we're picking all work today. We're going to try and make them 100%. With Spotlight, basically if we're not 100%, we then get fined 10% of that order. So Big W are a lot better, they don't fine, they just put it on a back order. But Spotlight will fine us if we don't deliver 100%.
Interesting.
The only difference between these 3 machines that we've got left is what's behind them. So we've got a steamer behind that one, a steamer behind this guy, and a Hank unit over there. The steamers were mainly done when Australian country spinners were on board, because they used to play with acrylic. So not only did they draw it and do it all through tops, they also brought it in on cone. So anything on cone had to be steamed first. If you tried to knit with it, you could, but it's no good. It had to go through the steamer. Once it came out the other side of the steamer, it was basically ready for knitting. Same as this guy here. Now we've got product there, and that's a Dreamtime 8-ply. Now we can set it on the cone and leave it there for 1 or 2 days, and we'll get away with it. Basically, if we leave it on there too long, we have to put it through steam to puff it back up again. Otherwise, once it's on a cone, it actually is tight, so the yarn's under tension. It will come back, but in a lot of cases, if we're taking this and balling it and sending it straight to the warehouse to go out that same day or within a couple of days, it's not going to look any good. So by putting it through the steam, it actually puffs it back up, and then it looks like it's the way it should look like. At this stage, she's taking labels off a product, which is a Magnum, and turning it into a Carnival. We have to do all that by hand, and that's how to do it. So basically our machine would take the yarn, run it down the conveyor, go up through the krill, go back down onto the balling machine. The balling machine would start up and do a cycle. When it finishes the cycle, our sliders will come round slowly. They'll go into a certain position, and then the scissors will come out, cut the yarn, suck the end into the end of the flyer. Then they move out of the road. The beam that's got all the numbers on it will then go in, grab the balls, bring them back out, drop them on the conveyor, and once that's done, the machine's already started up. From there, the balls will go along the conveyor, and you can see them being squashed down there. When they get to where that ball is now, it's already told the labelling machine to pull out a label, put the barcode and information on the label, put some glue on the label, so by the time the ball actually comes up, the label's wrapped around it with some glue. By the time it's got out of that little conveyor, the glue is dry. It would normally then be counted 5 times, so to count 5 and move them across, count another 5, push the whole lot into the L sealer, and then seal it, bring it through the oven, and basically all the oven does is, because it's shrink film, will shrink it up to whatever size we want. So everything that goes through our dye house gets knitted up. So a hand knitting yarn will get knitted up, and then there's someone that checks it, and that's me. I either let it go or I reject it. If it gets rejected, there's a good chance it goes to black, because black's the best shape. These guys here are some of the commission stuff that we've done. So everything, as I said, is knitted up, and we have to inspect it to make sure, especially the commission stuff, because if it's unlevel, then I have to explain to the owner of this yarn what options they've got. Sometimes that can be black, but a lot depends on what it's going into. If it's going into socks, I'll use 2 or more ends so it can be blended in and you won't even see it. If it was going onto a garment, you would see it straight away. So a lot depends on what they do with the product, is to what plan that we use to fix the product. But the last straw is black in every case. So this guy here,
I'm making a jacket out of that. Prism.
this is different to all the other machines. It doesn't have a steamer. It actually runs the hanks that you clean in the dye house. So when they come out and they're dried, they'll come down here. They slip them onto this, so I'll slip a couple of them onto there, and when they open it up, it expands. So it'll actually hold the hank on. And then from there, through, it goes through to this guy here, and this guy is an accumulator. That'll hold about 4 hanks. That way the one operator can get around the whole machine. If it was going from there to the boiling machine, you'd get nothing out of it because they're spending more time running back and forth. So she's making sure this is full. This guy here, if this guy runs through and there's nothing, it'll get to a point that here will stop and hang, then she's able to thread up. So it just reduces the amount of stretching and threading up they have to do. We'll go around this side. So it's about 40 seconds per ball. So 20, every 40 seconds, we get a dot off this machine. So what happens, the yarn will come through here, come into what we call our flies, which are these guys here, and they actually wrap the yarn around the ball. The flies will actually move right up and put a band around the ball. They'll go back down and start building the ball, and about halfway they'll come back up, put another, what we call a belly in it, and then it'll slowly drop down and do what we call our final line. Once that's finished, our flies will then move around to where these red things are, and the yarn will go, they'll drop down. There's a hook in there. It'll drop down, put the yarn through the hook, move out of the road, then the hook goes back up, touch the end, they get stuck into the end of the mandrel, and then that moves back, this guy moves in, grabs the balls, brings them back out here. And then we get to put whatever we like on the label. So our labels will go here. Once it's censored over here, by the time it gets from there to here, labels come out, barcodes put on, glue's put on, ready to wrap around the ball. Again, through to here, count 5, pushes them to the front, counts another 5, pushes them all into the sealing unit. It'll seal, pushes it into the oven, oven shrinks it up. These guys here are what we call hank winders. So for the other two machines, we have to hank wind our product, and then from there it can go on to the other machine. So it takes it off the hank and puts it on the cone. That's all it does. These guys here, a lot of these guys that we have got our team. Yeah, these. When we're operating quiet, they will wind these up and then take them in there and put them in the box and put it over them.
Before all the fancy Swifts, all the fathers made their own.
Yeah.
Because we've got one of Alex's mums and one of my mums, and they're both completely different. They're made by different sellers.
Yeah.
And they still work.
That's what our operators do in here. So. The working printed stuff that we had, so we also used to back in the old days make stuff for better homes and gardens. So we would do the products, so you could buy the packet and you had your kit.
Yep.
So,
It's beautiful.
your section.
That's unbelievable size.
Oh, this is recycled polyester. You know, so.
That was the end of the drive. So we walk into the this area here is basically our discontinued area. So we have to do something with this before we go.
I'm just going to tuck on my jumper. Let me see if there's any I haven't got. Look at this.
So that'll have all the names and photos. Basically
Anywhere in
started back in the old days.
Got a little box of it.
The historical society is going to take all of it. Otherwise there would have been a chance it would have went in a big.
Oh, no way.
So, but no, the historical society
Oh,
will
good
take all
on you.
this.
Excellent.
You know, old bits of writings and old pattern books. Down the maps down here, it actually states when each section was built. So yeah, so I don't know. So hopefully you enjoyed the tour from me. So thank you.
Really sad.
But he was a school teacher. So he must have been a good.
Sorry.
He went from here to college. His name is still well known because he was a great one for campaigning against what they were doing for Alice.
Oh, wow.
I did an apprenticeship here. He's a bit of a turf, I live in Richmond. No, I was probably here for about, I went away and then I came back for about 12 months. I was probably only here for 6 years total. I started on the 12th of January, 51 years ago last January.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Wow. I thought that was a nipple. Yeah, that's the nipple, girls. Wow. 69, 70. It's a nice uniform.
It is I mean, not only does it sum up the years, but I think very, just take
64.